And we're live. So you're saying there's a chance. Hey, yo, how funny was Gable with that? So you're saying there's a chance. Hey, oh my gosh. Hey, welcome to welcome to my page. And if you're trying to do get a recap of Survivor or the latest episode, or you just want to talk Survivor, you could not be in a better place. The time is 9:32. That is 32 minutes after the show has aired. So you could have been here with me. I have no idea why you're not. You should be. But this episode is brought to you by the Really Hood Podcast. The latest episode, I Am Not Depressed, is out. And it's getting a lot of great ratings. People really love that episode. And I'm not sure why you're not checking that out either. The Really Hood Podcast. But what kind I will have to let me just get it out the way, because you're gonna hear me rant about it several times. This was one of the most strategic game show episodes I've ever seen. The level of strategy that it took to play this week was insane. I'm gonna get it out the way. I love Big Brother. I really do. But this episode is a great example of how strategic, or how much more strategic Survivor is when compared to Big Brother. I don't care who you get from Big Brother. Dan, name them. Even Derek. Well, Derek would have did well in this episode. But the point is, this was the highest level of strategy I've ever seen. But enough ranting. So the episode starts off with Owen, who lays out a plan to drive a wedge between Karla and Cassidy. Cassidy confronts Karla. Karla lies because Cassidy could spill the beans about Karla's idol. Did you hear the Italian guitar while Karla and Cassidy spoke? I've been saying this since a long time. To me, Karla is like the godmother. But before I go any further, let's just jump out there and let me ask you now. If you saw the episode, you know exactly why I'm asking you this question. Who is the ultimate survivor? Is it Karla? Is it Cassidy? I want you to pick right now. I want you to go in the comment section. Even if you haven't watched, even if you're late, you didn't watch it live, go into the comment section and vote right now. I want to know how you feel about this, and I will, reveal my pick later down the line. But Karla or Cassidy, who is the ultimate survivor? I want to hear you. I want to hear it. Sound off. Now, I always call Karla the godmother, and it was great watching her talk and hearing that nice little Spanish guitar playing. I was like, that is definitely. I don't know if they're trying to play off the Italian mob type of theme. What's up? Dr. Jawan is in the place. Yes, this episode was so good. And I don't care if you don't like Survivor. I don't care if you don't like game shows. This was the episode not to miss. Now, Dr. Jawan says Cassidy is the better player. I'm not going to spill the beans, but, I'm going to hold off. But yeah, so we start off with Owen, who pretty much, and Dr. Jawan, join in whenever. But Owen talks about how he wants to drive a wedge between Cassidy and Karla, seeing those two as very good players. So he's already starting to, strategize. Jesse confirms Cassidy's suspicions. Now I want to stop just for a moment, because last week when some things blew up, Sammy, who was it? Sammy. Someone told Karla that Cassidy had a plan to vote her out or something to that effect. And Karla never went to Cassidy to confirm whether or not Sammy was telling the truth. Well, what made me happy this episode was when Cassidy heard that Karla actually said her name. What did Cassidy do? Cassidy went to Karla and said, "Hey, did you say my name?" And I was thinking to myself, Karla, why didn't you do that last week? And, I was happy to see Cassidy take the reins in her own hands and verify somebody's story. That part was awesome. Now, here's where things get really, really sinister, because Jesse confirms Cassidy's suspicion. How? Okay, second question. All right, do you like or do you hate Jesse right now? I need to know how you feel. Is he evil or is he super strategic? Tell me how you feel. Sound off in the comment section. I need to know how you're feeling about Jesse, because I don't want to steer your answer. That's why I'm not saying much, but I had to ask the question. So Jesse confirms Cassidy's suspicions, and let me tell you, this was insane. Dr. Juwan said Jesse is super strategic. He ain't evil. Look, I have to ask, because Jesse was playing a game that Jesse. I'm trying to contain myself. I don't know if you can tell. Jesse played one of the best strategic games I've seen in a long time. I would argue that it bordered on the line of evil. Okay, can I say that without sounding like a bag? It was kind of sadistic. Okay, it was just like Cassidy goes to Jesse and just trying. Well, actually, no. Jesse talks to Cassidy. I think he went to her because Karla trusted Jesse and said, "Hey, can you go to Cassidy and kind of smooth things over?" People are telling her that I said her name and she knows I have an idol. I don't want to, get blown or whatever. So Jesse, I'm thinking Jesse's going to say, hey, listen, Cassidy, Karla doesn't have an idol. Everything's smooth. Jesse says, you know what? Your suspicions are true. Look, man, is Jesse evil or just playing smart? I need to know. Oh my gosh. That was one of my favorite parts of the episode, just watching Jesse. But let's keep going. Soon we get to the reward challenge. It was an obstacle course and maze, which you had to play blindfolded. Owen, Karla, and Cody win the challenge and are granted the opportunity to visit a sanctuary where there was, food and things like that. What about that challenge? That reward challenge was awesome. They were in these like roller gate ball, like those little bumper balls when you're like on a big field and you're like at a party or some kind of gathering and you can roll and kind of tip you over, whatever. This challenge was insane. Okay. The only person that could actually see was the person inside the ball while the other two players were guiding them through an obstacle course. What a great and creative challenge. Once again, big fan of the way the Survivor structures their challenge. But we see that, what was it? Owen, no, wait. Let me get it right. I know who this is. Wait a minute. Where are you? So the winner was Karla, Cody, and Owen. There you go. Karla, Cody, and Owen. That's a great 3 to win. And you got to know this. As soon as they get to the sanctuary, they immediately start game planning, right? But it's a lot of gameplay taking place at the sanctuary because Karla, wait, let me slow down because Dr. Juwan just said something. Getting more people mad at each other. Exactly. All right. So I want to point out something. Okay, Karla feels, this is once they get to the sanctuary, but Karla feels the pressure, calling herself a target. So Karla immediately starts to game and try to play Cody and Owen, saying, "Hey, I'm not sure why I'm such a big target. I'm just laying low." She plays that card, but Karla lies about having the idol. How do you feel about that decision, Dr. Juwan? Did you feel like when they were at the sanctuary, Karla, may have played too hard by lying about the idol? Because I thought that she might come, just kind of be truthful with it, because by that point, everyone seemed to know that she had it. But at that particular point, no, she continues to play, covert, and she lies to Cody and Owen. And I was wondering to myself, is the fact that these people are super strategic not coming across to them in real time? Because through the TV screen, I'm like, Karla, you can't lie to Owen, you can't lie to Cody. These two are masterfully strategic. Like, just, and I would say the same thing about Karla. You can't lie to Karla. These people are in the bottom 6 for a reason. These are some of the strongest players I've seen in a long time. Now, I say that now, but for a while I was getting a little worried, like, hey, Survivor, this is a little boring and, dare I say, not strategic. But in this particular space, the top 6, man, I'm talking about absolutely strategic. But anyway, Karla lies about having the idol. Cody and Owen believe she doesn't have the idol, so it worked. I remember writing that down. It actually worked. Cody and Owen were actually trying to figure out, well, hey, I don't think she has it, because by this point, Karla should have played it by now. I mean, she's been in some really tough spots. How would she not play it? All right, Dr. Juwan says she definitely overplayed. I agree. I think that Karla should have maybe, been forthright about the idol situation right then and there. But hey, Cody and Owen did not pick up on things, and they thought that she, they kind of believe her. Like, hey, I don't think she has it. But I want to make sure you paid attention to the Mafia music. Once again, this was a common and reoccurring theme. I'm not sure if this was intentional, but every time Karla was on the screen, if you listen to that guitar, it's like the same guitar you might hear in the film like The Godfather. I'm telling you, I'm not lying. I actually took note of it. But once the sanctuary thing is over, they go back to camp. And Gabler says, you don't show up with an axe. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Gabler, I had to actually quote this because Gabler is talking about strategy takes. Don't show up to the front of the castle with an axe like, hey, and you drop some poison in their drink, and then you sneak out, and you leave. So I had to actually quote that because I just said, hey, Gabe, that's a great quote. Actually quote that because I just said, hey, Gabe, that's a great quote for this game. And it made me wonder, like, hey, this guy's a little bit more strategic than I might be giving him credit for. But anyway, and then also Gabler says that he's hiding in plain sight. Are you buying that? Is Gabler hiding in plain sight? I sure am buying it because nobody's talking about him. Look, the minute I find out that he has any allegiance or any ties or any alignment to the military, I don't care if he's 70 years old. Right away, I'm gunning for him. I'm like, hey, this guy knows things. He's trained. He's combat ready. There's no way I'm going to allow this guy to go that far. And he is hiding in plain sight, in my personal opinion. But anyway, Gabler then paints the target on Cody and Karla. So that seems to be who Gabler is most focused on, that being Cody and Karla. But anyway, immunity challenge time. So we have the immunity challenge, and it is a puzzle. Karla and Jeff have the most casual conversation. If you watch this episode, there's a point in the immunity challenge where Karla and Jeff are just having the most casual conversation. It was like insane. So Karla's starting to struggle because her body's starting to fail on her. And she's like, hey, Jeff, so I don't know what's going on. Like my foot hurt, and I guess I'm gonna have to keep going. It wasn't like Survivor talk. It was like they were on the phone having a conversation. If you watch it, you'll get it. You probably don't understand what I mean by now. But if you watch it, you will get it. All right. So anyway, where is it? Karla her body begins to betray her, and Cassidy wins the challenge. I gotta know, how did you feel about Cassidy winning the immunity challenge? Look, up until that point, Cassidy and Karla were definitely going home. Everybody was talking about those two. In fact, you heard Owen say at the beginning of the episode that Karla and Cassidy, let's pit them together because we need to break them up. They were best friends at one point. So we start to see that Karla and Cassidy could be who goes home tonight, until we see that Cassidy pulls out a rabbit out the hat and just wins immunity. I was so happy for her because I've criticized her several times in this season. And I thought she was just a person who, was going to be on the beach and, trying to get a tan. Man, was I so wrong? I have to say, Cassidy, I apologize. I have so much more respect for Cassidy now because she showed me that she is a competitor. And I just did not see it. I mean, this goes to show you cannot judge a book by its cover. You can't just look at somebody and say, oh, no, you have to learn and see their character, watch them in battle. And I have to say, Cassidy earned my respect tonight. And if I'm not mistaken, this is her second challenge win. So not only did she win one time, this is her second time winning. And you just got to give her credit, man. And I do. All right. So what was your first thought after what was your first thought after Cassidy wins? So after Cassidy wins, do you remember your very first thought? Do you remember your first thought? You probably don't. So after Cassidy wins the immunity challenge, what's the very first thing you thought? That's the question right now. And I'll tell you mine, just in case you forgot yours. Mine was, hey, Karla, you better play that idol or your challenge. What's the very first thing you thought? That's the question right now. And I'll tell you mine, just in case you forgot yours. Mine was, hey, Karla, you better play that idol or you're screwed. That was my first thought. I'm like, if Karla does not play the idol, she's going home tonight. There's no question about it. It was Cassidy or Karla the entire episode. Cassidy wins immunity. And my first thought was, Karla, you better play that idol. And I was so terrified because I'm like, I really like Karla. Karla has been playing such a masterful game. But if I have to be honest, this was one of her weakest episodes. In fact, I thought that she looked very vulnerable this entire episode. So that was my first thought. What was yours? I love Cassidy. This is Dr. Jawan. Dr. Jawan says, I love Cassidy winning the immunity challenge. She's definitely an entertaining player for me. Look, Dr. Jawan, you like her a little bit more than I do, but I'll be honest with you. She is starting to rub off on me. If you go back to some of the earlier episodes for this season, you'll see me kind of like lay into her a little bit, like especially in maybe the first 2 or 3 episodes. She's way in the background. Nobody even thinks about Cassidy. And it's like, who is Cassidy? I might even ask that question at one point. So, I have to apologize. And I have to say that she has certainly earned my respect, period. I thought she was gone. She lost today. Dr. Juan says, and Dr. Juan, I'm gonna go with I think in a really weird twist of fate, I think if Cassidy had not won, I think Karla would have went home because I think if you put Cassidy and Karla side by side, it's my opinion at least that Karla is the better player, at least to the players in the game right now. So I think what saves Karla is the fact that Cassidy won, and the fact and because of that Cassidy win, it makes Karla play her idol. And I think if Cassidy doesn't win, I'm not sure Karla plays that idol. I think she feels comfortable enough. And I think the blind side actually takes place against Karla tonight. So that's just how I see it, Dr. Juwan. I don't know if you agree with that. But anyway, it sounded like, moving on, it sounded like Karla plans to idol bluff. So we get back to camp, and Karla is starting to, start to strategize. She talks to Cody, and they're trying to figure out, hey, what can we do? How can we save ourselves tonight? And everyone starts to figure it out. Hey, Cody has an idol. Karla has an idol. Cassidy is safe. Basically, it's between Gabler, Owen, and who's the person I'm missing? It's like one more person somewhere on that island. I cannot remember. That person really. Oh, Jesse, of course. All right, but we start to. Didn't Jesse have idols in his pocket or some kind of weird? And that part was a little confusing for me. I know that Jesse had idols. He had somebody else's idol or something like that. It got really convoluted for me in that particular space, but it happened. But at one point, Karla starts to give me vibes that she's going to bluff. And I thought to myself, that is a terrible idea, Karla. This is not the time to be selfish. How many players have gone home with a million idols in their pocket because they're afraid to use them? It's the weirdest thing. Is like people get these advantages, but they never play them. It's like if you got the advantage, play it. That's why you got it. So she starts giving me hints that she might not play it, and that she's going to basically scare everyone to voting somewhere else. But at some point, she's going to just like kind of keep the idol in her pocket. So that's what she does. That's kind of how she plays the game. And I was thinking to myself, that is a terrible idea, Karla. This is not the right time to idol bluff. The move is being orchestrated by Cody, who wants Karla out. So we soon learn that Cody is the orchestrator behind the Karla hit. And I'm sorry for the such vulgar terms, but that's what this felt like. It felt like an episode of Sopranos or something like that, or some other mafia type film. It's just like it just felt so mafia like. And Cody and Karla are side by side. They're having these conversations, and then at some point, Cody flips on Karla, and you start thinking to yourself, Cody, what are you doing? I mean, he starts to feel himself. He starts to feel like he's bigger than the game, that he has everything figured out. And wow, I'll just say that for right now. But anyway, Jesse wonders if he can beat Cody. He makes a decision to betray Cody. This is wild. So if you can follow the moves, what happens is Cody and Karla, both having idols, they start to strategize and think to themselves, what can we do to throw everyone off? And, Karla feels vaguely confident that Cody is going to follow a certain script. But what we find out is that Cody goes to Jesse and say, hey, we're going to actually vote Karla out. I'm going to give her false confidence that she's safe tonight. And instead of, voting in the way that she might expect, we're going to backdoor Karla with her idol and send them both out the door. Well, you might think that was it. You might think that was enough. Normally it would have been, but no, not tonight on one of the most strategic episodes I've ever seen. Because Jesse starts to realize, like, hey, I have a family at home and I have, obligations to them. Like, hey, I just met Cody some weeks ago, but my children, they need security, financial security. So Jesse has this inner monologue with himself and just discusses, hey, do I really betray Cody? Is it too early to do so? And, I thought that, hey, he's having this conversation with himself. Maybe next week, Jesse will pull off this move. But no, Jesse right then on the spot basically confirms what I was fearing for Cody. And he says, hey, I'm going to basically get Cody out of the game. Cody is very, very he's overconfident, not very confident. He's overconfident. And he is, for all intents and purposes, trusting Jesse to a fault, right? But anyway, Dr. Juwan says, I thought Cassidy was a going. Oh, yeah, I read that one already. So, yes, that's what happened. So, Jesse almost like double back. Cody was trying to backstab Karla. And because he's looking at Karla's back, he's not watching his own. That's the perfect analogy here. And Jesse definitely sees an opportunity to strike. Gabler uses another quote, and this is what makes me this is how I know that Gabler is a predator. Okay, this is how I know he's more than what he appears to be, because he makes a great point. He says that this game right now is Apex Predator Buffet. He says that right now in this point of the game, it is a Apex Predator Buffet. Have you ever heard such a term? That term was invented in the brain of Gabler. Okay, and that tells you how he thinks. Apex Predator Buffet. Have you ever heard of that before from anybody? No, I haven't either. Okay, so that comes from his mouth, and I thought it perfectly summed up tonight, because you have the final six, and we're talking about six players who are playing at the highest level of strategy that I've seen in a long time. Now, mind you, I'm trying my best to do this episode justice, but you have to see it, because if you don't watch it, you just won't believe. You know, I can only tell you so much, but when you watch it, you'll get why I'm so like baffled by how crazy this is. This is insane. But anyway, we get to the tribal council, and Jeff does his usual bit. He's talking to everybody. He's trying to fill out the entire cast. But Jesse plays an idol for Owen. Now, this is where I need some help. Dr. Juwan, I'm not sure if you're still in here, but or whoever's in here with me, can you help me figure this out? And here, let me break down why I'm confused. Jesse, it's my understanding that Jesse had two idols. I thought that he had Dwight's idol and he had Cody's idol. I thought he had both of them. And then if you watch this episode, you saw Jesse. Well, that is what happened. Okay, I figured it out. We saw Jesse actually give Cody's idol back. So that's what confused me. Okay, so yes, Jesse had an idol, and he gave Cody his idol back, and that almost ruined the entire game plan for tonight. Once Jesse gives Cody his idol back, everyone starts to panic, because everyone by that point had already decided via Jesse's plan to backdoor Cody. But once Cody gets the idol back, everyone panics, because they're like, wait a minute, this was not a part of the plan. So now I understand. Jesse had Dwight's idol, and he gave Cody his idol back. Now it makes sense. But anyway, in a weird twist of fate, Jesse plays the idol for Owen. What was that? Can somebody explain that to me, please? Please explain that to me. If you would have done the same thing, please let me know now. Because let me tell you right now, I would have never saw that coming. Okay, and neither did Cody. Okay, but here's where I'm still confused. If Cody has had his idol and Jesse played Dwight's idol for Owen, and then as you saw, I don't have to tell you this, but I'll tell you. Jesse played the idol for Owen, which I'm confused about, whatever. And then Karla plays the idol for herself. Bear with me and help me figure this out. If you know the answer, please drop it in the comments, because I'm not sure anyone's going to be able to answer this question for me. Karla plays the idol for herself, so Karla's safe. Jesse plays the idol for Owen, and I'm guessing Jesse understands that he's safe. And now at this particular point, Owen is safe. Here's where I'm confused. Why didn't Cody play his idol? Somebody explain it to me, please. Somebody please explain it to me. Why didn't Cody play his idol to save himself? Someone please tell me why he didn't do that. Help me, because I don't have an answer. Here's my best answer. Cody forgot, or Cody was so confident that he wouldn't go home that he kept the idol in his pocket and he got greedy. Help me understand. Make it make sense. I don't understand why Cody doesn't play his idol when he has it in his pocket. I mean, what kind of, like, Cody had planned to take Jesse out, and maybe that's what happened. Maybe once Cody saw Jesse play Dwight's idol for Owen, he might have thought that Jesse was still, aligned with him and still playing with him. So he's like, hey, I don't have to worry. In fact, Jesse is so safe that he's playing an idol for Owen. So why would I play an idol if Jesse's not playing it for himself? Oh my God. That is how smart Jesse is. Do you understand? This is insane. This guy is crazy. Dr. Juwan says that Jesse is just smart. I'm going to go with evil genius. Okay, if he's smart, I'll give him smart. But I'm going to give him evil smart. That was incredibly evil. Okay? I don't even know how to digest that. I thought I was pretty strategic. I thought I was pretty smart too. That was insane. Okay, you planned the idol for Owen, which gave Cody false confidence, and then when it's all said and done, Cody looks at Jesse and said, "Hey, you're not even playing it for yourself, so I'm safe." And then Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So anyway, Jeff starts to read the votes, and we see that Cody gets voted out. And it was so hard to watch because Cody said the infamous line, "Really, bro?" You know what I'm saying? Like he couldn't believe it because that move was so out there. All right. I feel like Cody was greedy. Dr. Jawan, you know, he was. And I'm going to go a little further and say that Cody got really, really confident, overconfident. And I know why. He had all the numbers and he clearly saw where everybody was looking at. He saw everyone looking at Karla. He saw everyone looking at Cassidy. So, and then his right-hand man was the most strategic player in the game. And then Gabler wasn't a threat. And then Owen, he's like a free agent. So why wouldn't Cody feel safe? But boy, why it's like I don't understand why these players find these advantages and then when they need to use them, they just don't use them. I guess Dr. Jawan sums it up. Cody got greedy. What's up, James? James is in the building. James says, I just joined in. So there was 3 idols total correct. All right, so James, you seem to be just as confused as I am. So let me help you out, James. And this is what I've uncovered. You know, it's like when you're talking and you start to like, you know, you start to get it because you're hearing yourself say it. So here's what I thought, James. I thought that there are 3 idols, right? Karla had one, and then Cody allowed Jesse to hold on to his. So Jesse had 2. One from Dwight, because you remember Dwight asked Jesse to hold his idol, but then Dwight got voted out. So that basically gave Jesse Dwight's idol. But Jesse also had Cody's idol, right? I know somebody who doesn't watch the Bible who just click on this video. It's so confused right now. But anyway, Jesse had Cody's idol, but then Cody wanted his idol back to prove to Karla that he had it. And it's my understanding that Cody took the idol to tribal council. Karla plays the idol for herself. Jesse, for whatever reason, and I'm still not sure if I understand why, Jesse plays the idol for Owen, leaving himself exposed. I guess he realized he didn't get any votes on him. I guess that's the only thing I can figure out. And Cody has the 3rd idol in his pocket and doesn't play it, James. Can you believe that? James says, so Cody gave back the idol to Jesse. Jesse plays it. Jesse still has Janine's Dwight. So, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. If you find out different and you're watching this at a later date, please correct me in the comments. But here's what I think, James, or here's what I think I know. I believe that Jesse had 2, Dwight's and Cody's. And I believe he gave Cody's idol back. And I believe Cody had his idol at tribal council. And the one, I should say that the idol that Jesse played was the one that he got from Janine and Dwight. That's my understanding of the, tonight's events, okay? And that's what I'm understanding. Because I wondered the same thing. I'm saying, why didn't Cody play his idol if he had one? So it made me immediately think that Jesse stole Cody's idol and played it. But no, Jesse had 2. So he didn't steal Cody's idol. Cody just didn't play his. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Please do. All right. So I have to ask this question again. Is Jesse the most strategic player of all time? I know. I'm going a little far, but I have to ask this question. Did you see what happened? Did you see what happened? Okay. He backstabbed his own friend, which that's a rarity in itself. Most players wouldn't do that. They wouldn't go that far against their own number because, you know, I guess it's the bottom 6, bottom 5 now, but so it's hard to say that Cody is a number. And here's the rationale for Jesse. Jesse's thinking to himself, if I aid Cody in this big move to pull off and take out Karla, Cody's resume will supersede mine. And if that's the case, and I'm sitting next to Cody, Cody wins. So Jesse said, this was a mafioso episode. This was Chicago Mafia if I've ever seen it. This was Al Capone, Al Pacino-esque, okay? Jesse starts to feel like, hey, if Cody's resume gets too big, especially if he takes out the godmother, and that's what I call Karla. If I take out the godmother, there's no way around it. Cody's resume will be this tall. So Jesse, in much like a mafia style setting, takes out his right-hand man. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. So I have to ask, is Cody one of the most strategic players of all time? Come on now. I mean, not Cody, but Jesse. Is Jesse one of the most strategic players of all time? Like, let's be real. This was a crazy move. Okay? I'm not going to say anything else about it, but I'm just telling you, I've never seen I can count on one hand how many times I've seen a player do something to that effect, okay? That was insane. Backstabbed his own player, played an idol for someone else. Like, come on. That's crazy. All right, anyway, We soon find out after Cody goes home, and I think he handled it very well. By the way, Cody and Jesse hug it out. I thought, because Cody reminds me of like a rough kind of guy, I thought that Cody was gonna be like, ready to punch him in the face, because that was like, this is $1 million game, and that move was such a huge backstab. So I thought, without question, Cody was gonna deck him or something like that. But Cody exited very gracefully, and I have to give him credit for that. But anyway, Jeff announces that the team, or I should say the contestants, are going to a new beach. So you got to know that next episode is going to be amazing. I cannot wait to see the next episode. I am so excited. But it's time for me to answer that faithful question. Karla versus Cassidy. Who's the ultimate survivor? First off, a quick resume rundown. Karla has been running the entire game since the start. She's been behind the scenes. I call her the puppet master. I call her the godmother, and for a good reason. She's been under the radar up until this episode. Like I said, this episode was, in my opinion, her weakest episode. But up until this point, she's been slaying. She's been slaying. Okay, and then we look at Cassidy. Cassidy has played under the radar, and when I say under the radar, I mean like groundhog under the radar, unseen up until maybe episode 8. She's a late emergence, in my opinion. Having watched every episode, it's very recently I've started to pay attention to Cassidy, and she has come back with a vengeance. Now Cassidy is looking like one of the strongest players to win the game. That's how strong she is. She made Karla look pretty weak. That's how strong her bounce back is. I would argue that her peak right now is starting to look a little scary. Now, who do I think is the better player? If I'm being honest with you, I would rate Karla's overall gameplay a 9 out of 10. I don't think that this episode knocks her down too far, but it certainly knocks her down from that 10 out of 10 I would have given her previously. As far as Cassidy right now is at like a 7.5 for me. That slow start, I need to see maybe one more week of this Cassidy, and then I'm willing to say, hey, 8.5. But right now, I got Cassidy at a 7.5 and Karla at a 9. So there's my answer. I think that Karla is the ultimate survivor between the two. However, we will see next week as the rematch happens, the grudge match, because at that particular point, Cassidy should be open, right? No idols, nothing like that. And then also Karla is open, having played her idols. So no one's safe. And we will find out who's the ultimate survivor next week between Karla and Cassidy, because both will not have any protection unless someone wins a competition. Man, this was insane. I just can't. And I didn't watch the preview of the next episode. I wish I had. I didn't, but I'm glad I didn't, because I think I know what I want to see. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to see it. I want to see Cassidy versus Karla 2. That's what I want to see. Okay. But anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in with me. I will be back next Wednesday, because look, I'm gonna get my popcorn out. I gotta watch the slugfest between Karla and Cassidy. And I will say this: between the two, if one of them survives the other next week, I believe whoever that person is going to go to the final 3. Okay, if Karla wins next week, she's going to final 3. If Cassidy wins, she's going to final 3. Because after that elimination of one of those stronger players, they have to pay attention to people like Owen. They have to pay attention to people like Gabler. If they don't, I don't know how this. As far as Jesse, you think you might want to get him out? Look, he just betrayed his own BFF in the game, and he didn't even blink twice about it. So yes, I don't know. I'm just great episode tonight. Thank you for taking a moment, kicking it with your man Rick Dawn. I'll see you next week around this time. Like I said, about 9:40, I'll be live. Y'all be safe out there. All right, peace. All right, I'm trying to get this button right here. There it is.